1/3 of children and 2/3 of adults are overweight or obese in the United States. The new 2010 dietary guidelines from the Agriculture Department and the Department of Health and Human Services point out how better diets can reduce waistlines and chronic disease risk. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack said at the unveiling of the guidelines that Americans need to balance good eating habits.
Not every calorie is the same, and these guidelines graphically point this out. We want to place a greater emphasis on meal patterns that focus on fruits and vegetables and whole grains and low-fat dairy and lean proteins, including fish and seafood. We want to move away from sugar and sodium and saturated fat.
A major recommendation from this report is that virtually all Americans could benefit from a reduction in their sodium intake.
And the guidelines also call for cutting cholesterol intake.
Currently, men are getting over the 300 milligram a day target, whereas women are getting somewhat less. So we're hoping that that's a reachable target for the future.
Vilsack says eating healthy doesn't need to be expensive.
One of the things that we're trying to do is to provide people with information, at least on the USDA website, about recipes and ways in which you can stretch your food dollar and still purchase foods that are good for you.
The 2010 edition of the Dietary Guidelines is available at dietaryguidelines.gov. In Washington, D.C., for the U.S. Department of Agriculture, I'm Bob Ellison.